Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Mission Matters. My name is Adam Torres, and if you'd like to apply to be a guest on the show, just head on over to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to apply. All right, so today is a very special episode. We're doing one of my favorite segments of the month, All Things Indie, with co-host Stephen David Brooks. And today he's brought on two more amazing guests. We have Linda Nelson, and then we also have Michael Madison, who are co-CEOs and co-founders over at Indie Rights. So first thing first, Stephen, man, good to see you this month. Linda, Michael, ready to have some fun?
Yeah.
All right, so I like to normally open up this segment with Stephen. So Stephen, you always book these amazing guests month after month, and it's been an absolute privilege for me to get to know more about what's going on in the film world through this All Things Indie experience. So maybe start off with why you invited Linda and Michael. Give me the backstory.
Well, I first met them in Cannes in 2014. I was looking for a distributor, sales agent, something for my indie film Flytrap. And trust me, I met just about everybody. And I eventually went with Indie Rights because they just have a unique business model, transparent accounting, and best of all, I can't go into details because it's proprietary, but they have this Encyclopedia Britannica-sized PDF of how to market, how to find your audience, how to build your audience, how to sustain your audience, that if you follow that, you're going to be successful in the indie film world, in distribution. You're going to get your film seen. So I thought we haven't covered distribution yet, and that's certainly the most mysterious part of the indie film world for a lot of people who are starting out. So I thought, why not enlighten filmmakers out there with Michael and Linda?
Oh, that's amazing. Rounding out my education too. So Linda, Michael, I definitely want to get into Indie Rights, but maybe just start, I see co-founders, co-CEOs, like how'd you both get into the business? How'd you pick this?
Well, we worked on a film together. We produced a film called In Sync Bigger Than Live. It was for IMAX and large format theaters. So Linda and I worked on that, and we did the distribution naively, thinking we could do it, but we did that, and that's kind of how we got our feet wet with distribution. So from there, we made independent films, and we did the distribution for that. The deals were so bad when we were looking for distribution deals. I mean, you'd call up a producer that was with a distributor, and they'd start crying on the phone, and one person said they just had to pay $30,000 to get their film back. They never got paid. They never got any reporting. So Linda and I, we decided, this was the very beginning of digital, and we decided, let's hold on to our film, it wasn't a special film. We shot it with the Canon XL1S, and, that's what it looks like. Linda and I we financed it with credit cards, and we did everything ourselves. So it wasn't like the NSYNC film. We had one guy that put $5 million into a film. This was one where we had to start completely over. Linda and I had to get day jobs after the NSYNC film. We tried to raise money for a motocross film for IMAX theaters. And we just never could raise the money, and we just got into more credit card debt, trying to raise money. So we got day jobs, and from there, Linda and I decided to make an independent film, and we were hoping we'd get into Sundance or some place like that, and that would be the
idea. Like 2003 or more.
When that was kind of the dream that you'd get into Sundance, and then all of a sudden your dreams would come true. But made the film. We did a few film festivals. Dance to Films was one of the film festivals, and from there we met a lot of other filmmakers. And at the same time, we would go to American Film Market, and we'd go into the lobby. Back then you could go into the lobby and just talk to people, and you could talk to buyers. And we had 5 films. So we went early in the morning. You could get a table out by the swimming pool, and you just camp out there all day long. And then one person could go upstairs, and that was Linda, because she's the one that talks all the time. So, and she's not shy. So she'd go up there and talk to people, and we sold a couple of films to India, places like that. And just slowly over time, we started building up more and more films, and could leave the day job. And here we are now. So
but actually, your timing is actually perfect, because that's when streaming started to become a thing.
Exactly.
What year was this roughly? What year was that roughly?
Well, we started, we made In Sync in 1999, 2000. And then from there, we tried to raise money for another few years and started living off of the fumes of that. And we had to get a job. And 2006, I think we released Shifted. That was the film that was in Detsua Films. And then we started distribution with that. And then after that, we made another film with the Red Camera. And that was when we started getting a lot more films. I would say 2014, I think, is 2012 or 13 is when we went full digital distribution.
When we first started, like, we were delivering films for iTunes to Apple on digibeta tapes. Or we would put like 10 films on a big GTEP drive and send them that drive, and then they would dump them off there and then send the drive back to us. We would put more films on it, because the internet wasn't fast.
That's so hard to imagine right now for me. I'm just trying to picture.
I screened my first film at Dances with Films, actually, my first festival, my first film, Heads and Tails, and we screened on a Digi HSP tape. It's a giant cassette tape like this big. I mean, it was... It was crazy. I mean, the interesting thing about when you started, the reason I brought up about streaming is that it's also, because I had worked writing movies for New Image, and I'm sure you know those guys, Boaz Davidson and Trevor and Short and Danny Dimbort and those guys. This was about the time the home video market collapsed. In the early 2000s, it seems to be that nobody bought DVDs, and people weren't renting as many DVDs as they did VHS tapes, and video stores started disappearing. So there was this sort of gap when the home video market, traditional market of video stores collapsed just before streaming started. So you guys sort of got in right at the beginning of that transition.
Right. It was a transition. When Netflix started, they were like DVDs by mail.
Right.
Yeah.
They transitioned into one, but it took the internet getting fast enough to stream.
And we were beta testing every single platform that had come out. So they all went under, but we would beta test everybody. Well, and then the person who made Tubi, AdRise, before that was another download. And then he closed that company and then he started AdRise, and then AdRise became Tubi. So we beta tested everybody. Most of them failed. Some of them survived. B-side was one of them. That's
Cassie.
Well, it's sort of, I mean, and
the very first people to have content on Tubi.
Yes. I mean, I kind of wanted, I think this is sort of the end point of the conversation, but I want to bookend it in that a lot of these early streaming platforms failed because the fundamental problem now is how do you get people to watch your film? There are so many films, so many streaming platforms, right? So that's sort of the end point of the conversation. Let's sort of get there. Let's start with sort of the process and how you work. Let's say I'm a filmmaker. I've finished a film and I come to you or I'm looking for distribution. Sort of take me through the steps and the mistakes to avoid in that process.
I think it's worthwhile starting even before that so that filmmakers understand what they need to do in the development phase and the production phase so that they're prepared for when they're finished the film and then are looking for distribution.
That makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Go for it. Yeah.
Talk about that part first.
Yes.
About the preparation. What kind of deliverables people need to make sure they have.
Well, can we even actually take a step back? We've had other guests on. We had a guest, Jeff Miller, who's a producer, produced famously Popeye the Slayer Man. And we talked about audience and genre. That's sort of, I think, the starting point you're getting at, Linda, is when you're developing a story, what genres sell, what are easier to sell, how to package your movie that way as you're making it or before you make it.
This is some failures in all genres, and I don't think genre is particularly important. We have docs that do better than really great thrillers. The point is you have to have a great story. You have to have great acting, and you have to have great production value. You need all three of those things. And so when we're, looking at acquisitions, we look for all three of those things, and you have to have all of them. But if somebody starts making a movie, whatever genre it is, if they don't prepare by creating the deliverables that are going to be required for distribution, they're screwed from day one. They won't even get distribution. Like we get so many, we collect drives from people still, because a lot of times when you're uploading, the files we need are over 100 gig. And a lot of people don't have that kind of bandwidth to either upload them correctly or they get corrupted when we're trying to download them. So even though a lot of companies will take digital uploads, we still prefer to get something on a drive so that we have a backup. And
we eventually put it up in the cloud.
But you've got to have the right things on here. We have about 50 things that we look at when somebody sends us one of these drives.
So go ahead and get a little bit technical in case somebody watching is just starting out. What are those deliverables?
Number one thing, after you made a great film, number one thing is you have to have a great poster. And this happens over and over again. I get a great film from you. I watch it. It looks like, you shot it. It's lit perfectly, edited perfectly. And then they give us, a filmmaker will give us key art that is just, nobody's going to click on it. And so you need to think about,
wow,
when you were a kid and you walk through Blockbuster and you pick up a record or anything like that, the album cover is what's going to make you buy the film that you don't know anything about, because nobody's going to know anything about the independent films that we distribute majority of the time. So, it doesn't have Tom Cruise or anything like that in it. So you've got to get clickable key art that works when it's just the size of a stamp, because, people are just going to go through it really quickly on their television, maybe even on their phone. And you need to have a large piece of art that can say everything about the film with just like one image of maybe a person's face or something. But
so something like this, for example. Okay.
A face. One of the best things is just a face. If you look at Netflix, all the James Bond films, they don't have the old James Bond posters. They have one of the guys, James Bond, holding a pistol. And it's very clean. It's just white background and him holding a pistol. And it's very simple. It's not as complicated as the posters. But from there, and that's the number one thing. After you make a great film, you've got to have a poster. It needs to be stereo. And a lot of people don't. They think they make a stereo, but they deliver it to us. And then most of the times it fails because it's mono. So we always tell people, after they export their feature film, put it back in your editing system. And, the stereo is this. And so if there's a song, the song should not be going up and down like this. It should be left and right. Should be doing that. And it's just an export setting on the editing system. And that's one of the major failures. We need a ProRes file and 422HQ. It needs to be stereo. 1920 by 1080. 4K is fine, but most platforms are not using 4K, especially independent films. And the really sad thing is a lot of platforms are asking us to send them MP4s, which is a very small file, because they do not want to pay for storage. And they're storing these files. So, but stereo, ProRes, 422HQ, need to have closed captions. And the newest thing that is happening. Okay, back to the poster. Tubi's starting to fail posters because the title art is not readable. Maybe it's very thin, skinny letters, and they want something very readable from far away. And they're now like Flytrap. Back to the closed captions. Now closed captions are failing because filmmakers want to make closed captions with their editing system, and that it fails every single time. So what you need to do is you need to pay that extra money, go to rev.com, have the human make the caption files.
Yeah, and, I experimented with just playing around with some of the new AI closed captioning, and it's horrific. It's terrible. It's not even close. It's right format. Some things need to be done by a human.
And what happens when people do not get the captions from Rev with a human making the captions is, say it passes Amazon and I send it to Tubi or I send it to Google Play. Well, each platform has a different QC requirements, and some of them are more strict than others, and some of them become more strict than they were in the past. So Tubi, if I give it to Tubi and it fails, Tubi, they have robots that the first initial pass, a robot looks at it. After that, a human has to look at it. And they're so busy, and they're working with films like Titanic. They're putting up bigger films than our independent films, and our films are not the number one priority. So what happens is it could be 6 months until your film comes out. So just pay that extra money and get a human to make the captions with Rev. What else can we talk about?
These are gold, by the way. Like,
it's
And it's a format
UTF.
So, but sort of, so I don't want to also just back up a moment. So there's sort of this great myth that all you need to do is take an iPhone and you can shoot a movie. And obviously I can see Linda shaking her head. I mean, I agree. People who have done that, like Sean Baker, who did it, had a mount to put cine lenses on the iPhone, had a professional sound mixer, which is crucial. You can't just go out with a phone, no crew, and make a movie. You could upload it to YouTube if you want, but to get actual distribution from a distributor, you're not going to meet these technical criteria. You have no chance.
Yeah, no. Most of the time, those people are going to studios, and the studio has special software. They can up-res it. They can do all kinds of things to make the image better. Just like that one film that everybody bought the Canon XL1S because of Danny Boyle's film.
Oh yeah, right. Which I looked at again on Tubi just to see, and it doesn't hold up at all. No. I mean, it's dreadful.
Well, first of all, it looks terrible.
Yeah, but also, I mean, a studio will also, I think, more importantly, remix the movie. They will spend, if the studio picks it up, they will spend a lot of money to get a 5.1, 7.1 mix, which makes all the difference in the world.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And another thing is that a lot of people are starting to think that they can produce movies with AI, and that's not working.
Yeah.
We have official word from Amazon and Tubi, they will not take AI-produced films yet. That may change in the future. They said they'll let us know, but there are all kinds of copyright issues involved, and we could talk. That's another thing we could talk about, how important it is to get music rights and
music rights.
Oh yeah, that's a big one. Yeah.
The music rights are very important because, well, I mean, you can get a lawsuit because you don't have the rights all the way. And what should we say?
You have to have a written license for your music. If you're not. If you hire someone to do the music, you need a written contract that says that you have the rights to use it in perpetuity for free or whatever you agree to pay them.
Right. You also you need to get from your composer or the band that everybody has, if they're writing songs, has a BMI or ASCAP company. You need to put all that credit information in the titles to make it official, and you definitely need that contract because actually.
But also, it's important to know that the distributor is not responsible to pay any guilds.
Right.
Right. We don't pay ASCAP. We don't pay BMI. We don't pay SAG. You know, so it's really, we have a lot of people ask us, "Oh, are you going to pay?" Those various guilds, and we're like, "No, that's the producer's responsibility."
Right.
And we're having SAG chase filmmakers.
Filmmakers, and then they chase us.
Right. They also chase us.
That's not so fun. But our deal is 80% to the filmmaker. We keep 20, and that's from the first dollar that comes in. We pay quarterly. So any money that comes in, we pay it out. That's the fair deal that we thought when we first started the company. We don't charge any expenses. So when we go to these markets, we're paying out of our own pockets. So it's just very important that the filmmakers stay on top of everything that they owe to their different guilds. And
Right. So go ahead and because if someone goes to AFM or CAN or EFM and they see sales agents and distributors and so on, sort of contrast what you do and how you operate as opposed to how a standard sales agent might operate, differences in the contract and that kind of thing.
Okay. So it's really important to understand the difference between these various kinds of companies. There's distributors, there's sales agents, there are aggregators, and there are producers reps. So there's basically 4 different types of people that you can deal with. I'll start with the producers rep. There are several reputable producers reps out there. And if you live in Idaho or someplace far away from Hollywood or New York, and this is your first movie, it's not a bad idea to have a producer's rep that can kind of guide you, right? And, there's a couple of companies that we take films from that provide us with content from filmmakers.
So they're kind of an intermediary, kind of like an agent that handles the film?
They're not even an agent. What they do is normally they will charge a flat fee up front. And they'll guide you, and they will really look at your project, and they will pick give you a list of like maybe 5 or 6 different distributors that would be appropriate for your film and introduce you to them and let you look at the various deals that might come in from them, and they'll hold your hand through the process.
It sounds like they can save you time, right? Like
Oh
the
my God.
time and going
How
out
would
there
you
and
start?
doing yourself, figuring things out. Like that's not easy.
Well, you're
went
paying
on
for their
IMDb
contacts as
Yeah.
well.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if you went on IMDb, there's over 2,000 agents. How do you know, who's doing? So that's very, very helpful. If say it's not your first film, or you're more familiar, or you live in LA and you've been in part of various film groups and stuff, and you are a little more knowledgeable, then you can pick between the other 3. Now, aggregators are simply people that you pay to put your film places. That's all. You pay a flat fee, and they will encode and deliver your film to certain platforms. I don't recommend that you do that unless you have a built-in audience, or you have really good marketing skills. But if you
Is that because the work's kind of up to you at that point?
Yeah,
Like,
sure.
basically put it out there, but if anybody's going to hear about it, it's going to be you're working.
Totally up to you. Now, a sales agent, it's exactly what they say. They sell. They're not technology companies, right? They're sales agents. You give them your film. They have contacts for people that might buy or license, your film, but they're not technology companies. In other words, you give them your film on a drive or upload it to them.
You got so many drives over there, Linda, don't you? You just got boxes of them, huh?
We have thousands. We have over, we have over 2,000 films in our library now because
amazing.
People stay with us. Even though we only have a 3-year term, it auto renews unless you're unhappy, you want to leave, but everybody's happy. So.
You're just pulling drives out of the sofa.
We have bins. We have a room that just have bins, a whole wall.
Breakfast got a drive on the table. No, I couldn't help it.
I forget what was I talking about. There was a point I wanted to make. We were discussing.
You're talking about sales agents.
Oh, sales agents, right. Yep. So sales agents, they only sell. They're not technology companies. So when you give them a drive like this, guess what? They don't encode and deliver it and put it up. No, they have to give it to a post house that can encode and deliver that for them. What does that mean? That means they have incurred an expense. So then that expense is going to get passed on to you, plus a little bump on top of that. So that's why sales agents have to charge expenses. So, and also they normally will have a higher percentage fee. But we do all the encoding and delivery ourselves from here. We pay lots of money to have 1,000 megabyte upload speed, and we do all encoding and delivery for free for our filmmakers. So we're the only company left that doesn't charge for that.
And then other distributors, you want to talk about other distributors?
Really have direct relationships with all of the platforms, and they deliver directly to them. They don't have to go through another company to get up there. So that's what we are. We are actually a distributor. A lot of people think we are an aggregator, but we're not. We're a real distributor.
I'm curious what it's like to work with those platforms, because you've also been doing this so long. So meaning, since you've been doing it for so long, is it on the back end truly, like, is it a relationship business like many others? Like, you have people you've worked with for many years at the different streaming services?
It used to be people. We used to go down to Google's offices in Playa del Rey and sit down with reps, and we had Amazon people. We had real people. What's happened now is it's become very automated. Like Amazon let go 250 people from Prime Video Direct, and now all of the preliminary QC on independent films is all done by AI.
I mean, we do have people we email with.
If we have problems,
we email most of the time. Then when we go to Cannes or American Film Market, Linda just came back from Stream TV. That's when you do the face-to-face usually with people, and sometimes we have meetings, but mostly it's just through email.
But I'm guessing you have your reps. You have your reps.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, because I'll give you an example. So we do a lot on the Mission Matters. My company does a lot on the publishing side, but there's regular publishing through KDP, and then we've published over 400 books with them. So it's a whole different setup. So it's not just because you say Amazon. There's many different areas. So I'm sure it has to be the same like that. Because you've been doing it so long, thousands of movies. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Those are the different types of companies that are out there, and it just depends Yeah, unfortunately, the industry has been in very bad shape for the last couple of years, and many of our competitors have gone bankrupt, or sold or just gone defunct, like Screen Media and 1091. They've just all gone under, and part of or been sold, and part of that is because they had a lot of overhead. We run a very kind of lean operation. Also, I think that they had a lot of them borrowed money to try and stay in business and then couldn't service the debt. They were highly leveraged. And we can't pay your loans, you're in trouble. So we have no investors and no debt. So.
And you have loyal filmmakers too, right, Stephen? You said you've been, well, the way you said.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I don't even think about the contract. I just go, it's going to renew. Okay. I mean, the money's still coming in, not as much as initially. Although this is what's weird is about a year and a half ago, Flytrap blew up on Amazon Prime. I'm not doing anything differently. The algorithm gods smiled upon me, and it was like something insane, like 330 million minutes viewed or something like that. Wasn't it? Yeah, it was some huge number of minutes viewed over a couple of quarters.
Things change every 6 months. Things change. Like for a while, Freevee, we were getting all of our films on Freevee. Then all of a sudden, they kind of cut it off. So the films that were on Freevee were our older films, but they were making a lot more money than our films that are just on Prime. And then they just cut Freevee altogether. And Amazon's pretty rough right now.
Like a penny an hour.
Well,
for US.
Yeah, and it was. I think when I started, it was like 6 cents an hour, 3 cents an hour.
No, I think it was 12 or 18.
If you did really well, it was 18. They were also, when they first started, they were giving bonuses. They were doing all kinds of things. And then slowly over time, they started getting down to smaller and smaller. So right now, we're doing mostly TVOD. Our new films we put out, we're putting, most of the time, we're going to put them on TVOD for Amazon. And if you want something for free, you go to Tubi or our YouTube channel or any other place that has ads. But
now we have our own YouTube channel called Indie Writes Movies for Free. And that's an AVOD channel, very similar to Tubi. It is now outperforming Amazon for our title.
And AVOD means, just for people who don't know?
Advertising VOD.
Video on demand.
Ad-supported video on demand.
Okay.
Well, there's three. There's advertising, AVOD. There's SVOD, which was the Prime. There's not SVOD, so that's subscription. And then TVOD is buy and sell, and that's transactional video on demand.
Okay. So let's look at the end game for a filmmaker. We've gone through this whole process, right? How does a filmmaker get people to watch their film? How do they cut through the clutter? I mean, you talked about a poster. Obviously, that's critical. When people are scrolling, they go, ooh, that looks interesting. They may click on it. But what other, I mean, without going into all the proprietary stuff that you guys have come up with, just generally speaking, how does that filmmaker, once they've signed with you, well, actually, before they sign with you, they should be starting the marketing. Just sort of talk about that, how to find the audience, how to engage with the audience, that kind of thing, without giving away any secrets.
Yeah, I don't think these are secrets, but like social media is really the only thing you can do right now that costs no money, and it just takes the filmmaker's time. What a filmmaker wants to do is they want to, we always tell filmmakers to make a YouTube channel that's for their production company or them as a director. And every single project they ever work on, they should put clips or behind the scenes on this YouTube channel and start growing that. That's like the most discoverable way.
And you put links to where they can watch it on Google Play or YouTube, because if you put an Amazon link there, they won't refer anybody to that video. They don't want you taking people off their site. So we'll always get you on Google Play and YouTube Movies TVOD before, and our channel, before, you start putting those links up. And then that way you're linking to that. And then about 98% of our views on our channel come because YouTube has pushed people to those movies.
So stay within the
Google
family. Okay, that makes sense.
But podcasts are great for filmmakers if they can, I think even if a filmmaker could pay to be on a really good podcast, that's better than than advertising, because advertising, we do not suggest filmmakers pay for advertising because the clicks are too expensive for how much
more than you would make on the movie, for the view. So it really is very difficult. Instagram is great because you can tag us, and then Michael's going to repost that, because we'll get a notification if you put @Indie Writes Movies on every promotion that you do. We get a notification. We repost it to a much bigger audience than you'll have. Right? So if you look at our Instagram page or our Facebook page, you'll see how much promotion we do. And then also we go to AFM and Stream and Can. We do a beautiful printed catalog where you get featured twice. And we do full page ads in the trades.
But filmmakers need to just market, they need to just do Instagram and social media. But I don't think filmmakers, I used to in the past tell filmmakers they should start marketing their film while they're making it. But I don't think that's a great idea, because 2 years later, when you're finished with your film, you're going to be tired of talking about the film. And you're going to spend all of your social media before the film comes out. So you should wait till the film is actually out and available to buy or rent or watch.
And wait for it. No, they're not going to do it. But if you do a promo with a direct link to it on Amazon, they might click on it.
Right.
Right. So that's really, really important. And that concept of building an audience for you as a filmmaker is really important. A lot of people make the mistake of doing a social media profile for every single film they do. And then your audience, you fragmented your audience, right? So you want one for your production company or you as a filmmaker. If you're a director, filmmaker, or auteur type of thing, then it could be you, your name, on your YouTube channel, your Instagram account. That way you're every project is going to go on that profile, and you're building an audience. So the next film you already got a built-in audience.
So become a brand yourself.
Yes, you need to be the brand. You're the brand. The filmmaker is the brand, or the production company.
Anything you've seen, Steven? I'm curious, like on your end, on the behind the scenes stuff, like anything that you've seen that you like too. I'm curious. I want you to get into some of that. But I like the behind the scene thought, and I'll tell you why. When I
you mean behind the scenes of making?
Yeah, of like the social media production and promoting. And I'll tell you where this comes from. When I started in this business maybe 10 years ago, going on 11 years ago, and I would talk to filmmakers, and I'd be like, you need to be doing some stuff behind the scenes or making of or something else. Not necessarily, I was not weighing in with an opinion like yourself, Michael, like when to release it. I just mean in general, like shoot something, like you got to put something out there and start. Right. And I would get so much pushback. People would be like, no, the film's, when it's done, they're going to just see the final piece and this and that. Yeah. But now to hear you saying this, like I've been saying that the last 10 years, filmmakers have been fighting me on it forever. Like you barely get them to do an interview. So I'm curious.
When you are in production, every person in your cast and crew has a 4K camera in their pocket.
Yes.
Right.
Make a folder.
Nowadays, yes. Not 10 years ago, but yes.
5 years ago.
Yeah.
Make a folder on Google Drive. Give it to them. Have them upload stuff all during production. Interviews with their people are just as interested in how the film gets made as these used to be special features on DVDs and Blu-rays and VHS stuff. People love that stuff. And then you've got this huge collection of digital assets to use for promotion once the film is ready.
Right. We just, on Appleseed, the movie I'm in post on now, we did that exact same thing. Plus, we had a dedicated still photographer, videographer shooting as well. So we've got gigabytes and gigabytes of behind-the-scenes stuff. And what's great is, especially behind-the-scenes stuff, that's the opposite of what the movie is. Like, this is a horror movie I'm talking about, Appleseed. So you take a horrific scene, and then you get some video of the actor laughing while they're all bloody, right? Or between the shots. You do the opposite of what the movie is as part of the behind the scenes. And audiences love that. They love that peek behind the curtain.
Yep.
Oh, that makes me happy. I'm excited to see it. Good. I like it. So, Steven, any final words on your end? Like words, questions, thoughts?
Well, I'm just curious. You know, you guys just came back from Cannes. I know other people who did. And it seems like every market, things are changing. I mean, sort of like to finish up, what What changes have you seen since Cannes, which was in May, and where is sort of this business going?
I'll talk about that.
Well, I can tell you Cannes was pretty quiet because there was no Hollywood films there. So it was a totally different vibe than ever before.
Right? Usually there's like 5 or 6 in competition, so that the red carpet is filled with all these big American movie stars and stuff. Wasn't there this year?
We're not doing as much business as we used to do because in the past we could do sales to China or to Russia, and they would buy enough to pay for our trip. But
we're not allowed to buy them.
yeah, so we go there now and we just, the days of selling to Germany for a fixed price is just, those days are gone. But
really is more cinema focused, and most low budget films are not theatrical films. They're not, they don't have names in them, right? No big stars, and they're not really geared for theatrical, where Cannes is. Now, the new thing is, I just got back from Stream TV in Denver, which is the biggest streaming show and conference. Everyone was there. There were 20 people from Netflix, 20 people from Amazon, 20 people from YouTube and Google.
Wow.
And we made deals with 5 new places to put our films that we didn't have before. That were not at Cannes.
more American film.
Right. We met with AMC. What's something that's really changed? You talk about change. Cable companies, I thought, all cable companies will be dead within a couple of years. Well, what they did, they did something smart, Now they're only providing internet, but now they all have a streaming service. So people don't need a set-top box to watch movies anymore. They just need cable. And that's coming fiber for most people, right? So they don't need those set-top boxes anymore. But they have streaming. So, for example, AMC they have a new channel called All Black, and we have 400 urban Black cinema films, They have Shudder. We have another 300 or 400 horror films. So that's new business for us. The other thing is connected TV. If you have a Vizio TV, or Spectrum, or Samsung TV, when you first turn that TV on, you see movies that they're streaming, right? So they want content from us. So those people weren't at Cannes to do business, right? But we met them all at Stream TV. So that's a new one. And then also, the world has gone AVOD pretty much, especially for I think independent films where most people don't know the filmmakers or the directors or the people, the cast. So they wait till it's on AVOD. A lot of people, and so. That is a new show. It's not new. It's been up for a couple of years in Cannes, and it's going on now. It's called Cannes Lions, and that's all the advertising companies, because all the streaming companies have to have relationships with the advertisers, and all the YouTubers are there because they're starting to make content for streaming, and so it's all changing. And the other thing that we noticed at Cannes, and the same thing will probably happen in the American film market, is that for global streaming, we went around and talked to every international pavilion, our acquisition person, Beth Dewey, and I, and we asked each one, we wanted to make sure we had the best streaming platform in each territory, right? So if Taiwan had this great streaming platform, we could have a business with them. In every single territory, not one exception, the top 3 were YouTube, Amazon, Netflix.
Wow.
That's already covered. I don't think anyone will catch up with them. So, there was nothing to do.
I'd never heard of this market called Streamy.
Stream TV, look it up.
Oh, okay. I will. Yeah, absolutely.
It's in Denver. It's been going on for 3 years. It was enormous. It was huge. Everyone was there. And the opening keynote address was done by YouTube. And it's YouTube is the new TV.
Right.
Something like 80% of all of our movies that are on our YouTube channel, on the internet, are watched on people's big screen televisions at home. That's new. People watch on their televisions, they're watching YouTube. They have the biggest market share, almost double what Netflix has.
Now, one thing to remember, filmmakers need to remember about YouTube is that you need to have a family-friendly version of your film. So a broadcast version like they used to do in the 80s from feature films. You can't have nudity. You can't have sex. Drug use, moaning. A lot of times they don't like that. And a lot of profanity. They don't want that. So,
is there like a limit to the number of certain bad words you can say, or do you have to have
2 or 3 F-bombs?
You say F-bomb after F-bomb after F-bomb.
Right, but you could say it twice and you're okay.
Probably.
Okay, that's
bad for the C word.
There's really no rule. They don't have like a written rule to it. They just I upload the film and somebody watches it, or their computer watches it. And
if you upload Reservoir Dogs, they're going to reject it. In other words, okay.
It needs to be highly edited.
Right. Okay. Well, it'd be a 3-minute movie, but that's another issue.
What we do is if you have something that has a lot of that stuff in it, make an edited MP4 version. That's great, and then we'll put that up. And some people want to do that. Some people don't. Oh, no.
If they're going to have sex, just let them embrace and then cut to the next scene. Right.
It's kind of funny how what's old is new again. Watching something on a screen where you have ads paying for it is the old TV model, and having a clean TV version is an old model as well. I mean, it's kind of funny how that's all come around.
Yeah.
This is good. I've thoroughly enjoyed this. I'm serious. I've gotten a big understanding of what's going on now. I want to give you the opportunity, by the way, Michael and Linda. Indie Rights. How do people, if there's a filmmaker watching and if they want to connect, if they want to learn more, how do they do that?
IndieRights.com. You can go to that website and you click on the distribution tab and you can submit your film. You can also see our contract. Everybody has got the same contract, so it's there. Our deliverables are there also. And you can read about our company there. And also, you can follow us on Instagram at Indie Rights Movies.
Fantastic. And Stephen, people want to watch your films. They want to connect with you and your social. How do they connect with you? I want to make sure we get that in there because
StephenDavidBrooks.com. And whether you spell Stephen with a PH, which is correct, or a V, it still goes to my site. I own both domains. I'm on Instagram, SDB510, Facebook, SDB510.
All right, fantastic. Well, that will wrap up this month's edition of All Things Indie. This has been a lot of fun. Linda, thank you for coming on. Michael, Stephen, as always, booking amazing guests and lots of fun. If this is your first time watching or listening to this, by the way, don't forget, hit that subscribe or follow button. We got many more great guests coming up, and we don't want you to miss a thing. Thank you all for coming.
Great. Thanks for the opportunity to share.
Thank you. Good seeing you. I'll see you guys at AFM if you're there.